It's musicfog.com as we are hanging out at a house concert, actually at the Tortilla Factory in Herndon, Virginia. And the star of the show is Audrey Auld. Of course, we've got people walking through. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
It's great to meet you.
Thank you. You too, Jess.
Thank you. Yeah, and I absolutely love the jacket. I mean, we have to, it's Love Hurts on the side.
It's Love Forever.
Oh, fabulous.
Absolutely beautiful.
Totally cool.
It's from Nashville. I've found all these shops in Nashville. I've been there a year and a half, and there are all these shops that are like not franchise. You know, they're not in the strip mall. They're on sort of Gallatin Road or Dickerson Pike or something.
Really?
You know, they're like Fashion Superstore or, you know, Street Ready or kind of these names, you know. I mean, and they're just filled with these like outrageously colourful clothing, and they're all like, you know, made by some poor bugger in China, and you know, they charge $20.
But it's cool. We won't say how much it cost because it could have been $400 easy.
Oh, it was once. I just marked it down.
There's a lot of that going on these days. Yikes. So you lived in Austin for a while too.
No, I just wanted to. And everyone thinks or thought that I lived in Texas, and I will do. You know, I made an album called Texas, and that might have been what was misleading, or that I just really should be there because it's the natural place, really. But I said to my husband, you know, either Nashville or Austin when we were looking to buy a home, and he chose Nashville, and that's cool. You know, I mean, I'm enjoying that too.
Oh, absolutely. There's a great community of people there.
Yeah.
And I'm torn, too, because, I mean, I'm, you know, in the D.C. area now, but I moved from Nashville to here, and so that's calling my name, but Austin's calling my name also.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I guess you have to have a house in both, you know. So.
I reckon, yeah. And I mean, I grew up on a mountain in Tasmania, above the snow line, and so I kind of feel like I've done my time in the cold weather. Mm-hmm. And you know, a couple of winters in Nashville, like, oh, God, my face is coming off. It's so cold. So eventually I'll probably just head south.
What's going on with you musically?
I'm writing. You know, I write all the time. We moved to Nashville a year and a half ago, and it was quite, I guess, kind of confronting to move to Mecca, you know, as a songwriter. And I was conscious of just like taking it slowly. And I'm aware that there are like 1 billion people that go there with these big dreams, and sometimes not necessarily their own dreams. I think they're pursuing somebody else's dream sometimes. And so I was like, I'm just going to take this slowly, and basically what I do is travel and play music, and I just wanted to keep in mind that I can do that from wherever I live, and I want to be really open to what Nashville has to offer me as far as learning more about the business side of things, and learning from publishers. And I guess I have learnt that, you know, my songs are not what those people are looking for, and that's fine. You know, I mean, I prefer to follow the muse than chase the buck, you know. And so I'm enjoying living amongst a lot of musicians, and, you know, that's just amazing to just have, you know, John Pennell living down the street and Anne McHugh's just over a few blocks over, and, you know, that kind of thing. That's really cool, and every party is a jam session.
Yeah, it's great. I've walked into parties in Nashville where, like, there were, you know, 3 stand-up basses and 5 banjos. And, you know, and you go room to room and there's just stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, people vocalizing and harmonizing. And, I mean, it's just a magical thing. It's, you know, really wonderful.
And the history. I like, you know, I love the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. I love that, you know, that we were there when Porter Wagoner died, and we went for a walk that night. You know, they told us on the news, and just to kind of be in Nashville and, you know, feel like, oh my gosh, you know, he's leaving, you know, that kind of thing, and to go and hear Charlie Louvin or Emmylou Harris in the Ford Theatre in that up close and personal way, and I'm like, oh, I love this because I really like the history, and there's a great respect for the traditions there, and I dig that. Yeah.
Let's talk about what's going on in Australia, too, because, you know, there's some really significant music coming out of there.
Yeah, well, I've been living in America 5 years, and I've worked a lot with Bill Chambers, Casey Chambers' father, and we put out an album in '99 called Looking Back to Sea, which was traditional country duets and harmonies, and a really upbeat kind of 50s, 60s style album. And we just did it because we wanted to do it, and we had I'd never put a record out before, and we discovered an audience for traditional hardcore country music, you know, American country music, and so it did start this. Over the next few years, the words roots music started being used, and it developed an audience of people who would either go to the pub, and then there were people who would always just go to the clubs, and they all came together, and it was interesting. And I think, you know, I mean, people say that we helped kind of start a new wave of interest in roots music. I mean, they don't really refer to it as Americana over there. I call them what I do, Amerikinda, because I'm Australian, and, you know. But I dig American music and the traditions. And there are some really great, you know, there's a woman, Cindy Boast from Victoria, the Flood, a Sydney band. You know, Bill Chambers' own music is awesome. Casey and Shane have just put out a real kind of acoustic,
beautiful,
you know, earthy album. Lou Bradley is a young woman who's got a really cool sound, and there's a lot that, I mean, you know, no one over in America will ever hear of. But, you know, if they want to write to me, I'll certainly point them, because I think as a foreigner you get a more objective take on American music, because you don't grow up with it. I mean, I didn't grow up with country music, and you don't have it on mainstream radio. It's more sort of top 40 radio kind of a country. So you have to seek it out, and so when you do, I mean, I find, and I know a lot of the musicians over there that I've worked with really get country music, and they really know how to play it. You know, whether it's a Jimmy Rogers song or a Carter Family or Hank or a Patsy or a Merle Haggard. I mean, they really know how to render those songs, because I think they've just really listened and studied. And then I meet people in America who've never heard of the Louvin Brothers. I know, I was like, what?
Charlie is one of my favorite people on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just, you know, 81 or 2 now, and spry and spunky and totally into chasing skirt and smoking cigarettes and, you know, just being a badass. I love that.
Can I show off? Can I show off?
Sure.
I sang on the Ernest Tubbs Midnight Jamboree a few years back, and just one song. I sang a song called I'd Leave Me Too, and Don Helms played the steel guitar on the song, and I was like, you know, kill me now. But Charlie was on the show, and he you know, he loved it, the song. It's a very country song, and he's like, you got to come out to my car later and I'll play your track. And I'm like, yeah, right, Charlie. You know, because he's telling kind of smutty jokes in the dressing room, and, you know, I was like, yeah, sure, Charlie. And so we, you know, the signing later, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we're going to get going. And, oh, no, you got to come out and listen to this song, you know. I'm like, so I was with John Lomax, and I'm like, John, you got to come with me. So we went out to his pickup truck, and there's Charlie, and I'm in the middle, and there's John, and I'm just, you know, pinching myself. And then he puts a CD in, and it's Alison Krauss and James Taylor. And it hadn't been released, you know, How's the World Treating You? And he's like, listen to this. You know, and I'm like, am I real, and is this really happening? You know? Cool. That was like, wow, what a Nashville moment. Hey.
Oh, fabulous. I love that. Well, we will be catching up with you in Memphis.
Yeah.
In just a couple of days.
Yeah. We'll be the ones with the vodka, the Tito's Texan vodka.
Yay, and my flask. So thank you so much for sitting down with us. Audrey Auld.